didn't see the Robinson in there, yeah. She's Kaya is doing something for school, and it has and Marilyn.
Hi.
Oh, can we do this like this?
Well, I'm recording it on the computer, so I guess so.
Wait, I have to put a hat on, Just a second. I don't want to be recorded like, some kind of a non-religious person. 1 second. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
All right, now it's better. All right?
Okay.
Switch the camera.
Here we go.
Okay, so it's about we're giving interviews. Please leave. We're giving interviews because our literature book is about this girl from Mexico, and she moves to America because her father dies, and like they were a wealthy family and they had a vineyard, and then her father died, and so her father had 2 brothers, and they were mean. They only cared about power and money, basically.
Right.
And so then they threatened to this girl's mom that if she didn't marry one of them, that they would do bad stuff to her. So then she said no, because she did not want to marry one of them because they were gross people.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they burned down their house.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and then so she decided to. They had these servants, which are more like family friends, like close family friends. So they were now, because their house was burned down, they can't really. This family servants can't really be servants anymore. Right. So they plan to go to America, to their relatives for another job in camps. So then this girl and her mom decides to join them, and they're going to trick the uncle that they're going to marry him, and then they're just going to leave. So that's what they did. And so they moved somewhere else by choice. So we have to interview other people who also moved to a different country by choice.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's me.
Can you interview your mom?
Yes, but I want to make it more interesting. Everyone's interviewing their parents. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So there are 3 sections. There's the before Aliyah, there's the decision, and then there's like in Israel after Aliyah.
Right.
Okay, so
you have set questions that you're going to ask me?
Yeah, the teacher gave us a list. So
okay, good.
Do you want me to read it to you, the questions for the section, and then your
question, and then we'll okay. And I'll answer them. Okay.
What was life like for you before you made Aliyah?
Well, from the time I was 16 until the time I made Aliyah, which was in my late 60s, I lived on the west side of Manhattan, and I really loved it. It was a wonderful, strong community, and my mother lived nearby. My in-laws lived nearby. We had a huge family that was all on the west side, and lots of friends. So it was a lovely, wonderful community that I was very happy
in. Where did you come from?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York, and spent the first 16 years of my life in Brooklyn. And then after that, I moved to the west side of Manhattan, which was where I lived until I made Aliyah.
What year did you make Aliyah?
This is, I would say, 2017.
Why? Okay, so now we'll go to the decision part. Why you made Aliyah? Okay.
Three of my four children are living in Israel, and many of the people that we were very close with who lived on the west side of Manhattan had either died or moved to Florida, and some had made Aliyah. But our original plan, my late husband and I, our original plan was that we would spend half a year in Israel and half a year back in the west side. When we came the first time, he was quite ill, and it was clear that he was not going to be able to go back to New York. And we decided that we were going to stay in Israel and make Aliyah to be near our children and to be where we were actually much more comfortable at this point.
Did you deal with the difficulty? How did you deal with the difficulties? Oh wait, sorry, wrong question.
Okay.
Wrong. How did you feel on the journey?
The journey was an interesting one because I had not expected to make Aliyah. The apartment that we bought was an apartment that we had expected to just live in, sort of like not staying in a hotel. So suddenly I found myself in an apartment that was smaller than probably what I would have bought had I known that I was going to make Aliyah, but in a wonderful location and an apartment that I'm incredibly grateful that I now own and live in. So in terms of the decision was rather made for me because of his ill health.
Was there a meaningful object that you brought with you on Aliyah?
I'm very grateful that I was able to bring a lot of the artwork that we had collected over the years. There were certain things that we bought in Israel right after we got married, and I had made the return journey and are now hanging in my apartment here in Jerusalem. And I love looking at them because they mean that I was meant to live here always.
Was your decision supported by your family?
Yes, it was, because 3 of my 4 children lived here. Our parents were no longer among the living, and and we had lots of friends who had made Aliyah before us. So it was relatively easy. The decision was not such a hard one.
Okay. So now in Israel,
Okay.
what was the hardest thing about making Aliyah?
The hardest thing was saying goodbye to the life that I had lived for 68 years. I found that while I didn't so much miss New York, I missed the position that I had in Jewish society and the relationship that I had with the people that lived around me, and all of the relationships I had with the friends and relatives that I had left behind.
How did you deal with the difficulties?
The truth is, we didn't have any difficulties. We didn't need to get jobs because we were both, as they say here, pensioners. So that was relatively easy. And I found that the health care here, for someone who had so many things wrong with him, was remarkable compared to what we had in New York. The caring, the loving caring of the doctors could not be matched. And the fact that Maccabi arranged for us to have home visits from the doctor, home visits from the lab, home visits from the physical therapist, all those things made such a difference and made life easier for me. In addition, there's a program called Milabev, which is sort of a daycare program for people who have dementia. and it was marvelous. They came and picked him up, took him and gave me respite for several hours, and then brought him back home on a little tender. It was wonderful. So there were really no difficulties for me.
Did someone welcome you when you arrived?
Well, we made Aliyah while we were already in Israel,
Yeah.
so it was very different. So I can say this. I guess this question doesn't apply to us.
Do you miss any friends and family? Do you keep in touch with them?
I have one son who still lives in Manhattan, and I miss him terribly. I haven't seen him in 2.5 years because of Corona, so it's been very hard. And I have several friends and family members that are still in New York that I miss. But the love and care that I've gotten from all of the people that I am related to, or that are close enough friends, such as your family, so that they're really relatives, has more than made up for it. I felt welcomed and loved and cherished by the people that are here.
What do you like most about living in Israel?
I don't know how to explain it exactly, but the concept that everything about this country is new and exciting and Jewish. To walk on Jewish sidewalks, to know that I can, from my home, I can walk to the Kotel that people have prayed to see with their own eyes for 2,000 years. These are all things that are just remarkable. And I feel sometimes that the Mashiach is walking just behind me and waiting and waiting and waiting for everybody to understand that this is the time.
Did people in your circles make Aliyah after you?
Some did. Most of our friends made Aliyah before us, so that made it very easy for me. I had a network before I even came of very good friends that I spent time with on my visits to Israel, and they made the transition very easy. I was very particular about where I wanted to live because I wanted to live near the friends who were closest to me, and that's what I did. So that I was surrounded really by loving, caring people from the beginning.
What is the message you want to pass on to other Olim?
We are in the most glorious time in Jewish history in the last 2,000 years. The idea that we have the privilege of being here during this time when this land belongs to us and all we have to do is simply reclaim it is beyond glorious. And I hope everybody feels the way I do and understands the importance of being here and the gift that has been given to us by Hashem.
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
This is being recorded. Never mind. I love you, and you're delicious.
Thank you.
So, okay, take care. I love you. Bye-bye.
Hail the mountain.